But yo, real quick. I know we typically don't speak basketball on a bigger scale, but after what happened last night, I think we kind of have to go into this conversation.
Sure. That's true. Yeah.
So the Eastern Conference Finals just ended last night. We now have our finals matchup set. So real quick, let's dive into this. What are your guys' thoughts on the NBA Finals? What are your guys' thoughts on Toronto making it? You know, DeMar DeRozan, the Spurs, Skill, all of that.
Skill.
Skill.
I cannot wait.
Now, Skill posted on this Twitter last night after they made. Did you see it?
I followed.
Yo, listen. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of things in life that I don't like, but it is impossible for me to achieve the level of hate that I saw in that minute-long video from Skill Bayless.
That dude is salty, man.
I mean,
I've got friends that are Spurs fans, like real Spurs fans, and they don't feel the same way about Kawhi. They feel like the Spurs organization messed up by allowing him to leave,
right,
and then by catering to Popovich, and a lot of them feel like Greg Popovich is kind of overrated because look at the players that he's been able to coach. He's been able to coach. You know, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker. I mean, he's got 5 Hall of Famers he's coached over the last 20 years. So for Skip to feel that way, I just
and a lot of times I ask myself if he's basically doing it for the bond. Because you know him being with a TV show,
but I think that's
but still
pretty obvious.
to be a grown man, and when you go look at it, Jamal, because I know you tend to get a little bit more emotional than we do, but when you go look at it, he pretty much attacked Kawhi's character. And that was what I had.
That's not even the line I crossed.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
he didn't even keep it basketball. He attacked his character.
But we're talking about a guy who says things for shock value. It's pretty obvious he does at this point, which is
him and Stephen A. created the sports hot take culture.
Right.
So this doesn't surprise me.
Right. And then which allowed Facebook fans to follow and come up with their own hot takes. That's another story for another day.
Thoughts on the finals and all that.
As far as the series goes, everybody's counting the Raptors out. I mean, understandable. They're playing the Team USA. It's understandable. However, I give them 2 games. I say 4-2 because Golden State falls asleep sometimes, man, and that's pretty much it. I don't think Kevin Durant is going to play in the finals. I think that injury is way more serious than what they're leading on. With that being said, that ball moves better. The chemistry is a little better. If they keep that up, they won't need that closer. Right, yeah. You know what I mean? Like Kevin Durant is the closer when the situation warrants it. But in this case, I don't think they'll need it as much. But I think the Raptors eke out 2 games.
I agree. I think 4-2 Warriors is what it's going to be. I think we are seeing something we've never seen in the last 4 seasons, and that is fully healthy playoff Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Every year, Steph Curry has had some kind of lower body injury, normally to his ankles or his hamstring or something, and then we get a slightly less effective version of him. Right. And then there's this narrative, which I don't believe is true, that Steph Curry kind of dwindles in the spotlight, on the biggest stage. You forget he averaged 25 points a game in that first NBA Finals series, which I believe he should have got MVP over Andre Iguodala.
Right.
And and then last season, 27 points a game and almost averaged a triple-double. Lest we forget, people wanted to give LeBron James the MVP for almost averaging in a losing effort. Yeah. But yet with Steph Curry, it's like, so now we see a healthy Steph Curry. What he's doing right now in the playoffs is who's going to guard him from the Raptors? You're really going to take Kawhi Leonard and be like, okay, guard Steph Curry, and then now you got to worry about Klay Thompson.
And here's the deal. A lot of people don't realize Toronto actually has home court advantage.
They're better.
They have home court advantage.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, with them having home court advantage and with the Warriors basically having 2 weeks off, I think you're going to see a perfect situation of rust versus rest. Yeah. And I think Toronto takes game 1 very convincingly, and then I think the Warriors are celebrating on their home court in game 5.
I can see that.
One thing I want to add: very, very, very intriguing matchup in my opinion. Siakam versus Draymond Green. That matchup just intrigues me.
But you know,
And I was gonna ask, what storyline are you guys looking forward to the most?
If I had to say a storyline, and this is kind of like if it happens, because I don't know if it will happen, but if the Raptors even push them to Game 7 and Kawhi Leonard is being Kawhi Leonard,
you got to start putting him.
you got to start elevating him to that first tier status.
Yeah.
It got to start being LeBron.
You
KD.
got to start having them conversations.
You got to start having those conversations.
Okay,
That's MJ like stuff.
Yeah.
If he messes around and makes this, at least makes it close.
He's averaging 30 plus throughout these playoffs too.
Right.
So.
He's averaging against the 2 games against the Warriors this season. He averaged 37 points a game. So that should be.
And I think they went 2-0 during the regular season too.
They went 2-0. Well, actually, Kawhi didn't play in one game actually.
Okay.
But Kevin Durant didn't play in one game either. Even in regular season.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think the storyline to follow is going to be Steph Curry.
Yeah.
And Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, so now we're going to get to see.
We get angry, Klay Thompson.
Yeah, because the narrative is that, and this is something that I agree with, that if Klay Thompson was on any other team, he'd be Devin Booker. Okay, he can score, he can shoot, but unlike Kemba, Klay Thompson's not breaking dudes down on ISO.
Right.
Nobody.
Klay Thompson is dependent on the whole talent around him.
Actually,
right.
So, but now we know that Toronto is not going. They're going to hound Steph Curry. They're going to do whatever they got to do,
which makes Draymond's job even that more.
And that kind of goes in like I'm looking forward to 2 storylines. Well, I'm looking forward to one storyline. The other one I just kind of want to see how it plays out. But the one I'm looking forward to would be Kawhi versus Klay and Kawhi versus Dre. And I don't see Dre guarding Kawhi that much, but I definitely see them getting switched up on each other.
But that's a boon for the Warriors. They got 2 guys that can really straight up defend Kawhi Leonard.
One more thing we're not talking about is the bench. Because I'm going to tell you like this, man. Toronto looks like a different team when their bench plays.
Listen, you know what the secret is? You got to have kids.
Yeah.
You got to, because ever since Van Fleet had his son,
Right.
hey, as soon as Van Fleet had, because like Van Fleet been in the funk.
Yeah.
And he had his son, I think, last Tuesday.
And that dude been hitting everything since then, dude.
Buckets.
But it comes down to this. If you got to depend on guys like Van Fleet to have career games
all the time,
you're not going to beat the Golden State Warriors.
Right.
Because and you know what, there's been this narrative that Golden State's, they're not as deep as they were in 2015, which is true, but
The Kevin Durant effect.
yeah, them guys are playing really well.
I was gonna say, man, like the last couple of games with their young guys,
Yeah.
like something called McKinney. I've never heard
Yeah.
of him. Quinn Cook. Like these guys,
Kevon Looney has been playing.
yeah, like these guys are coming out of nowhere, man.
And here's, I don't think the bench narrative will be as emphatic as we're making out to be, because I had Milwaukee in the finals because of their bench, because they had a deeper bench, and they just lost 4 straight games.
Right.
And a lot of people are actually chalking it up to throwing Brogdon back into the starting lineup, even though he had a pretty good playoff series.
Look, man, I'm so glad you brought Milwaukee up. That is nothing more than a choke job. Milwaukee flat out.
They essentially got swept.
Choke.
Yeah, they call it the backdoor sweep.
The main reason they got swept, they got outcoached. Man, Nick Nurse completely outcoached Mike Budenholzer.
Yeah.
Because the first 2 games, Milwaukee was being Milwaukee. Nick Nurse made one of the biggest adjustments in the series. They walled off Giannis. And they dared Bledsoe to shoot. And that changed the whole series. It literally changed the complexion of the entire series, and Budenholzer never made an adjustment. Man.
Yeah, agreed.
They figured him out. They just figured Milwaukee out. It's that simple.
One more thing I want to throw out before we move on. We were talking about the bench earlier. When you look at some of these bench players that have been playing, Van Fleet was undrafted. And Toronto had another key backup. I can't even think of his name because they got so many. But I'm loving the fact that so many of these second round draft picks and these undrafted free agents
are
making big plays because it goes against the narrative that you can't find talent in the second round.
Right.
So listen up, Charlotte or whatnot. Okay, you can find talent in the second round. Okay,
But Charlotte found talent in the second round. So
the last two drafts, the last we had,
yeah,
but
yeah.
reputation-wise, we have a bad reputation with finding talent. So I'm glad to see that.
But do we? Because when we find it, we trade them for cash. Tobias Harris.
But then we bring them back. Bismack.
I don't even want to talk about. I'll end the segment on this. We did draft really well. One time that was Kemba Walker.
Yeah.
What everyone is forgetting in this conversation, he had a hell of a season. He absolutely deserved to be on an All-NBA team. Career highs in points, rebounds, and assists. 25.6 points per game. That's 12th in the league. I mean, that's it speaks for itself.
And what was your stat you've always been throwing out about?
I looked at all the first round draft picks in history. You have 5% of them have made one All-Star game. 4% have made an All-Star game and an All-NBA team. Only 3% of all first round draft picks in the lottery era have made multiple All-Star games and an All-NBA team. Kemba Walker's in the 3%. That's rare
company.
air. Yes, very rare air.